All right. Looks like maybe this is live, hopefully. Using a weird software here, so I can't quite see if everybody's in the rooms or on the channel chatting, etc. So give me one sec. See if I can do that. All right. Dean says I'm live. Dean, I got your question, by the way, so you're getting a little prize. Eric, hello. Awesome. People are showing up. I like that. How's everybody doing? Woodstock, Orange, Virginia, New Jersey. What part of Virginia is Orange, Virginia, Dean? All right, guys, we're about 5 after, and this is something that I used to do, I feel like at least once every 3 months, and it's been a while. I think maybe close to a year now. We moved location, so this place will look a little bit different than the last time we did a live session. Way better location. So for those of you that ever saw the old shop, we were kind of in an old industrial area right next to the freeway. Wasn't really great for cycling at all, and just kind of a mess for equipment that really likes to be kept clean. So August of last year, we got lucky and picked up a space pretty close to home and right on a bike path. There is a train right next door to us, so it tends to come online every time I press go live on something. So we'll probably hear that train at some point in time today, but just give me a couple minutes to get them to move along and we'll be good to go. Thanks everybody for joining. I really enjoy these sessions just because it gives me an opportunity to get reconnected with customers and to hear what you all are up to and to share what we're up to as well. So these are good energy for me, and hopefully everybody else enjoys the time here too. So this is an AMA, so I think I had a couple questions come in email response, but by all means feel free to pop anything you want to talk about into chat, and yeah, we'll talk about all things dispatch and bicycles. Sound good? Give me a thumbs up in those comments or something, just so I know you'll hear me. Charlottesville, okay. I used to live in Washington, D.C., Dean. So cool. A couple of, I guess, announcements that I want to share real quick with everybody. First off, today we just released these bar end plugs. You should be able to see them hopefully in the camera here. If I can get that to focus, maybe not. These are not going to cooperate, huh? Let's see, maybe it's me. There we go. Let's see, do that. There we go. Yay, smiles. Face detection. So that's a face too. It should detect that, right? So these are pretty cool. They actually go into your handlebar end plugs. So most of you probably are riding around with factory plastic plugs that really are there because a lawyer said they had to be there, right? So they don't look that good. They're not that functional. They tend to get brittle and break, and I don't know. They're just not. They're not that custom look that I like to go for on my bicycle. So. We did the smiley face. I think this was one of our originals for headset cap back about 7 years ago. And it's been a really popular design. And I just haven't taken the time until yesterday really to get this design properly and set up so that we can do these on bar end plugs. So those will come in two form factors. One is a 25 millimeter, which goes into your drop bars, your road bikes, gravel bikes. Some mountain bike bars, usually not. Mountain bikes will typically take a 32 millimeter bar and plug, and same form factor. Everything else is the same except for that end piece is just a little bit wider, so that you actually fill the entire handlebar end. So those are fun. They're available now in the store, so make sure you pop in there and spread some smiles. That was an inspiration from a ride, actually, and it's probably cliche at some point in time, but more miles, more smiles, right? And it's a truism that I live by, and I think a lot of our customers do, and so I'm excited to bring that out to you guys. So that's that. We also did some custom anodized. Let me block my face again. Come on. There we go. Maybe. These are custom anodized headset caps. Let me get out of the way here for a second. Let's see if we do that. There we go. Maybe it shows up. I don't know. Cameras and all that. There we go. So these are custom anodized with a acid wash base. Custom anodized with an acid wash that goes over them and creates these crazy colors. We have a anodizer here pretty close to us in town that actually is very, very talented and has been doing a lot of work for a lot of other customers in the bicycle industry and a couple other parts. But the uniqueness of them and just the cool, it's not quite oil slick, but it's kind of along those lines and just looks really beautiful. So I'll be making those available. We only did 40 of them. They're pretty expensive. They're just for anodizing about $8 a piece to get done. So they get a little pricey because they are a handmade process, and there's a lot of individual treatment that goes into them. So you have to pay for the labor, and that's the way that works. But pretty excited about those. One other thing before we jump into the kits, we're working with a company that many of you may know. Probably you all have done business with at one point in time, may or may not know it, because they primarily have existed behind the mechanics stand in your local bike shop, and that's Wheels Manufacturing. They really got popular because of their derailleur hangers and just the massive catalog of hangers that they have available. And like I said, you probably have purchased from them, or if you haven't, you've ever bent one or needed to replace a derailleur, the bike shop probably actually used them for their stock. They've been doing a lot of work to get from behind the mechanics station and into the shops, kind of front of shop. And they reached out to us a couple months ago and said, would you be interested in taking on our headset caps? It's like, well, we already do headset caps. Like, well, ours are different. I was like, all right, well, what do you have? And they are different. They are, this is the amazing part of this is there's no hole. There you go. There's no hole in the center, right? So it's a single piece that sits up on top of the cockpit and the stem. It's a headset cap, just the same, except for this piece, the top piece, is able to be removed. To reveal this base, right? And so this base sits in like your normal headset cap into your cockpit, and then there's a friction fit that goes right here, and that finishes off the top. So you can put in any headset cap design that we design on top there. So some of you have seen our aliens already. A number of you are familiar with our pattern that we use for what we call cycling life. We've had that for 7 years now, super popular. And these can be popped off really easily. So we can just sit it up on here, pop it right off, take your new cap, put that in, and you're good to go, right? Really easy. These are, for something that is so simple, no hole, to me, really, really amazing because it opens up a lot of additional design opportunities for me that we haven't had in the past, which hopefully will be something we can roll out to the customers. That includes things like photographs. People oftentimes want to put their pictures of their children on there, or their pets, or memories of photographs of rides, things of that nature. This will open up so many other things that we can do that is usually disrupted by a big 14 millimeter hole in the center of the cap. So I'm pretty stoked on these. I think I feel like a crazy person sometimes talking about it because I'm like, look, it's really cool. It has no hole. And like, yeah, cool. It has no hole, but it's really a big deal because holes obviously mean that you can't put things there. No hole means you can, and that's awesome. So. And then plus just being able to swap them out. So, a lot of people, I think, want to buy additional headset caps, but oftentimes it's like, hey, I already have one. I don't want to swap this thing out, but maybe I want one for the off season, or I want something for a period where I'm training for something that I need a little more motivation. So having that opportunity to basically pull that off and say, okay, I'm going to put, my party ride cap on today and use that is pretty fun. These will be pretty limited initially just because we're working through new material, new manufacturing process. Just want to make sure that we get it right for everybody. But it's pretty dialed. I already have a couple of customers that are trialing them, and I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be the next big thing for headset caps. Nice flat top as well, so no dome, which is an aesthetic I think a lot of people are going for right now. So those are cool. So that's that. Look for those coming soon. We'll probably do a little video on installation and just kind of explaining why they're different, but why they fit and why they're good to go. Let's see if we've got any questions. Dean, I saw your question about military insignias. This is a little bit of a gray area / tough for us to get into. There are certain treatments that you can do, and sayings and phrases and things of that nature that we can definitely use. But when you start getting into actual insignias from military branches, sports teams, bands, brands, Marvel's a big one. Everybody's always asking for Captain America. You get into some legal trouble real quick. And our lawyers, me, not a lawyer, are not as good as the lawyers at these places, right? So I don't like to get involved in that just because I don't want to get the business shut down. And it's kind of weird because you would think, okay, well, it's a branch of the American military, our tax funds go to it and everything else, but they do have copyrights on all that material, and you cannot use it without licensing it. And licensing gets really expensive really fast, in the tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on what you're doing and who you're dealing with. So we haven't done that yet. There's some options there, but in general, I think it's a pretty tough thing for us to pull off because we would have to have massive volume in order to justify that expense. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't want to get in any trouble. So Ride Your Ride 5-panel hat. That's a great idea. I've been trying to do what I can lately to move away from just branded merchandise. I think our logo is incredible. People love it. It's obviously has that kind of tattoo shop vibe. It's not, I guess if you're not with the brand or you're not part of our journey so far, then it's like, well, why would I wear a dispatch hat unless some people are into this band Dispatch, which I get confused with all the time. But it's definitely a thing that I'm working on. So there will be more hats, there will be more jerseys, there will be more shirts coming along that are more lightly branded Dispatch than we have in the past. And I think that's just a good direction for us to go. Not everybody's down with the image or the logo or whatever else, it's fine. But things like Ride Your Ride, which is, basically, oh, you got it right here, right behind me, Ride Your Ride. Those are definitely things that we're going to be putting on to additional merchandise, and caps are right at the front of the line. In fact, I just picked up a couple of dozen of these things. So we're going to treat that with a fluorescent safety third orange logo. My first one that's coming up is a Send It hat, so just be big letters that say Send It, and we'll work on Ride Your Ride next. I think that's a great one, so I appreciate that. What else do we have here? questions about the island. I'll tell you about the island in a sec. So let's talk about kits. This is something we do once a year. I can only do them on a pre-sale. The reason being, mountain bike and BMX, those kind of clothes are really easy to make. They're technical fabrics, but the assembly of them, the sewing of them is pretty straightforward stuff. When you get into road kits, there are very few manufacturers that actually do it very well, and the last thing we want to do is sell any garbage. So that means we have to actually go to specialists that do this for a living all day long, and what that usually means to me is that I make no money on it, which is fine because I want you guys to be out there and cool stuff on the road and on your mountain bikes if you're racing and showing the brand off and doing what you do out there in the kits. But I can't take on 50 or 100 kits and let them sit, because that's, at the end of the day, depending on what we're doing, it could be tens of thousands of dollars pretty quickly, and we need to turn cash faster than that, right, in order to stay in business. So we always go out and pre-sell these and do pre-orders with Eliel. In the past, we've done with Panache. Eliel's been our chosen partner for the last 3 seasons. They do a great job. They're a wonderful company. We have a very tight relationship with them, and super happy to be able to bring these back in. That being said, those kits for 2023, just the same as they were in 2022, will be a pre-order through Eliel. The link is up. The store is open. I think it's only open for another few days through, I think, next Friday. After that, we don't have any kits, and this happens every single year where we get questions about where can I get that kit, where can I get the jersey, the bibs, and I hate disappointing people, but we just we can't carry them. The last thing that might happen every once in a while is I might have an extra because I ordered extras for myself, and sometimes I get lucky and somebody else fits that, but as far as stocking, that's just not something that we do. So if you're interested in this kit this year, you have to get it through the pre-order, and that has to be done by the end of next week. I'll post a link to that here in a second if you haven't gotten that email. But here's what we're dealing with this year. I wanted to go with kind of a mixed design this year. So on the jersey itself, we toned down a lot of the branding, right? So you only see Eliel's logo and the Dispatch badge logo on the front. It's a really nice green. I really like this color a lot. I went through literally hundreds of colors in order to come up with the green that I wanted. I think it isn't too far away from something that we would choose normally, but it's I think a little more natural of a color. So those of you that don't want to have aqua and black checkerboards all over you, this is a good alternative to that. The back is actually blank, so there's nothing on the back. It is a green jersey with a logo on the front. Black zipper, green sleeves, Eliel logo on the shoulder, both sides. That's going to be paired up with a camo pattern that I've been working on for a really long time. So we didn't go, we still kept it a little crazy, but basically matched something that I think is a little more toned down up top with what's hopefully a pretty awesome blue, black, and light blue camo pattern on the bottom. We had to go through a lot of iterations on this in order to make this work because it kept coming out purple, and purple is just not a color I'm into. So this works for me. I think it's going to look awesome. Those are going to be your leg panels. That's going to be your front band on your leg. So it'll say Dispatch on the front. And then it'll have the Eliel logo and their bear on one of the leg panels. These are going to be fun, and we're already selling quite a few of them. So I think if that's a vote of confidence, it looks like things are going pretty well for us. So definitely invite you guys to get in there and get that ordered. I'll send out an email after the end of this call or this meeting, whatever this thing, live stream, sharing more about where you can get that. So, any questions on kits? definitely order up a size. I typically wear a medium t-shirt. My jersey size with Eliel, and this one we did a different fit and a different fabric this time, so it's not quite as summery as the last one. I think I wear an XL actually in this jersey top. So size up at least 2 sizes, maybe at least one, maybe 2. I don't consider myself to be a large medium, but apparently I am, or a small XL. I don't know what that works out to in the world of cycling, but if you order, definitely order up, order a size up. All right, who do we have here? Cool. So here is the other big announcement. For the last 7 years, this community has actually honestly supported me in many, many different ways. And I haven't always been able to get out and see people or have people in the shop or go to events because I've been back here running the operation. This is me. I'm the entire company. Last year I had some help. He decided he wanted to go off to college, which I tried to talk him out of it, but he was a great kid, great hire for me. My first hire actually in the business, and I just an absolute dream for me and for the customers. But when he left, I was like, okay, well, back to Brian's show. So this was something that I had to commit to, and it meant that I didn't get to go out and see people and ride as much as I'd like to, with the exception of maybe riding in from home to the shop. I really wasn't getting in any kind of riding out in multiple day kind of good experiential trips. So I decided to change that, and there's an island in California that I've been going to for many years. I've raced bicycles there. I've had a great time over there, camping, just hanging out. Usually tend to do it in October because the weather's still pretty good. The tourists have largely left, and it's just a very peaceful, nice retreat. For anybody who's familiar with Catalina Island in California, just off the coast of Los Angeles, that's where we're going to be hosting an event this October, sorry. So that's going to be, just to make sure I get the dates right, October 5th through 9th is what we have reserved right now. So we would expect folks to show up around the 6th. That'll give us a day to get provisions and get everything set up back there. It is out in the back country, so there is nothing else around there, so we have to bring in all of our own materials and all of our own food and drink and ice and shelter and all that kind of stuff. But we have 4 sites reserved right now, so that can hold quite a few people. We're going to limit attendance on this just because, it's the first year, so I don't know really what to expect fully. B, we have people that we're drawing from that can help us, that have done this before to really get this nailed down, and that comes with some pretty significant expense behind it. So, but it's going to be a great opportunity to go out there and camp, spend some time on bicycles, exploring an area that you don't normally get to see on your normal travels every day. And hopefully, my desire is that we all leave a little closer as friends, and have an opportunity to leave a little change from whatever experience we have out in the island there. There will be a sign up and registration page coming here next week. There will be a cost associated with it. I'm trying to not make this something that we make money on at all, but rather just to cover costs like the shelter, the food, the drinks, transportation, the tent sites themselves, and any licensing that we need. There's the train. See, I told you. So just to make sure that we cover that. But like I said, we're not turning into a travel company, so we're not trying to make money at this, but also don't want to go broke. So that's that. Those are the big announcements. I'm pretty excited about it. October in Southern California on that island is a pretty special time and place, and the weather's usually very much perfect. Knock on wood, I'll probably regret saying this, but I've never gone out there and spent any time in rain or anything else of that nature. There's bison on the island that wander around camps. There's fox. There's all kinds of weird other animals that I can't even identify that wander around out in the the wild out there, and it's just a cool preserve. So we'll tread lightly, but we'll see some cool things, and we'll have a good time. So that is my update. That's all I have. What else can I answer for you guys? Eric says, sweet. I appreciate that. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, ride your ride, and I think about it more and more as I learn who I am as a rider. I think this is key to who we are as a business too, right? As a company, there are, I don't know what the numbers will be for last year, but let's just assume that it's pretty consistent. There are about 17 million bicycles that are sold each year, and in the U.S., and most of those come from a handful of manufacturers, actual bicycle manufacturers, right? Not brands. And I think that opportunity to make that bicycle yours out of the 17 million that are sold is, I think on the surface it can seem like, okay, cool, that's interesting, but the reality is, if you make anything yours, right? If you invest yourself in it, you put your thoughts, your energy, your money into something, it just means more to you. And this, to me, is a very simple way to make that bicycle that is one of literally millions become one of one. And to me, that means that it's more meaningful at all times, right? When it's in the garage and I'm ready to ride it, and I think about it, it's like, okay, cool. I should definitely, get more involved in this. I should be on this thing more often. It's meaningful to me. When I'm on the bike, it gives me inspiration. Maybe it makes me laugh. There are a lot of different reasons why you might want to do this to your bicycle to customize it further. And then when you're done with it, you have the gain of that experience. And that $20 change to the bicycle, I think, is something that brings way more value than what you're investing there. So that's why, ride your ride. I'll be honest with you, I stole that from the running world, where it's run your run, and I think this means the exact same thing in the bicycle world, where it's ride your ride. Doesn't matter if you're first, you're last, you're middle, you're slow, whatever it is, so long as you're out there riding your ride. And that's what we stand for here. This guy. Somebody loves horn. I'm going to work for the train company one day. Sounds like a good gig. So yeah, making cool stuff. That's what it's all about. And I appreciate you guys supporting us through that. So thank you. Anything else? I guess if there are no other questions and it's at the bottom of the hour, that'd probably be a good time to cut this one off. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. Like I said, I'll drop you an email with the 2 new releases for the day, and get those into your hands. If you're interested in the kits, make sure you get them before the end of next week. Bar and plugs will be on sale immediately, and look for more information on Catalina. I was going to call it the Catalina Firefly Festival, but I figured that's probably not a great name. Just kidding. We're not calling it Firefly anything, but it'll be something fun. We'll call it, I don't know. We'll come up with something catchy. It'll be a good time, though. That's what matters most. All right, guys. Thanks. See you soon. Take care. Be safe. Stay out of the heat. It's hot here.